Hi, this is Ennis from Never Stop Trucking. Today we are talking about difficult drivers. Now, what is difficult? We should maybe uh, try to find a definition for that. What is a difficult person, difficult driver, or a customer to deal with? Now, anyone can be difficult, including me and you. It depends on our mood, depends on a lot of factors, like something that's bothering us and something is not going the right way. And sometimes we take it out on other people that did not deserve that, but it happens. We're humans. And then, same thing with drivers. Drivers are out there dealing with a lot of stress, a lot of things on the road, shippers, receivers, brokers, dispatchers. They might have a family problem, a truck problem. You never know. So if someone is sometimes difficult, then it's understandable. When a driver is being difficult as far as the loads go, that's different. So, in my opinion, there are two drivers that are difficult to work with. Now, we're talking here generally about loads, load prices, being picky with loads, and those kind of situations. If someone is doing other things on the road, like not being safe, being late, that's different. That's maybe a topic for another video. Now here we're talking about not wanting loads, being too picky, and not doing these normal loads. As we should say, the one always wanting something more and something perfect. So, in my opinion, there are two categories of drivers for that. You have a driver who is being difficult that makes money, and you have a driver that's being difficult that doesn't make money. And when we say it makes money, makes money for everyone. Okay, so if the driver makes a really great gross revenue in a week, then of course you get paid more because we usually charge by percentage. Sometimes the dispatching companies sometimes don't do that, but carriers, they always charge a percentage. Sometimes they have like a pay per mile, but those are big carriers, like big trucking companies that have owner operators leased onto them. They pay them by mile, but usually it's a percentage. And then most dispatchers also do a percentage too. Some dispatchers will do a flat rate per load, or maybe even like a flat rate per week. Okay, but since most of us do percentage, and the more gross money drivers make, the more money we make. Okay, so it's in best interest that we as dispatchers book the best paying loads for everyone. So if you have a driver that's very picky and choosy, and they always want the highest paying loads, and that they're actually doing these loads. At the end, you're booking them loads, and at the end, they're making a big gross revenue per week. Then it's worth it. Just what I have to tell you is deal with it. Just deal with the driver because that driver is a good driver. They're making good money. And then you have the other category where a driver is very picky and they don't book any loads. They would sit for days at home or someplace else. And then what happens with them is like they always want to pick the best load, but they always end up with worse loads. So they don't think straight. I don't know what word should I use, not to offend anyone. Their way of thinking is different, and they're thinking like, oh yeah, I am, very smart. I outsmarted the brokers and my dispatcher, and I'm doing it this in conventional way. But at the end, they are suffering. They're at the end they're making less money because, let's say, let's say the standard rate is $3 per mile, and then everyone is doing that. Everyone's just doing, they're busy, and at the end of the week, they're making decent money. And then you have a driver who wants to do every load like $5 a mile, but since they want this extraordinary rate, they sit a lot. You can't find them freight, and they end up doing less miles, smaller number of loads, as opposed to the other guy that's always busy and constantly working. And then these drivers that do that would do a load for $5 a mile, they always brag about. They would say like, "Oh yeah, I don't want to mess with that. I don't do anything cheap." But at the end, they would do a load like this, but not as constant as the other guys. And at the end, when you calculate, when you add all your expenses, and the time that you set, and the money you earned, then you will notice that you're not that smart. You're just maybe a different person, and that's fine. But you're not smarter than these other guys that do it. They go like the standard rate and just do it as everyone else. But because when you compare like annually your profit, you will see that you probably made less. So maybe if you're doing all these great paying loads, maybe your pay per mile was better, and maybe you worked less. You drove less miles than this other guy that did normal loads. But when you combine everything together, the point is to work. The point is not to sit and then wait for great loads. The point is to be constant and work constantly. And then at the end, this other guy made overall less money. So if you have a difficult driver that doesn't want to work, that always declines loads, and is always picky, and you're just wasting your time on that driver, then you should talk to that driver and then tell them this point of view and your side of the story, and see if they're going to listen to you. But most probably they're not, because they just have their own way of thinking, and you can't change it. It's a grown person, and you just can't change someone's mind and character like that. So, in my opinion, I wouldn't bother much with them. So you have two choices with those people, after you talk to them. First choice is just let them sit, okay? If they're happy with making less money than other people, driving maybe 2-3 days a week, and they don't make as much money, that's not your problem, okay? You offer them a load, they decline it, fine, okay. You're gonna wait till next load, but there is no point in offering them 10-20 loads if you know they're not gonna take that load. I would just stop looking for loads, and I would tell them, do you want to go, or do you don't want to go? Okay, or what's your minimum? Like, what's your minimum pay per mile? What's your minimum load amount that you want? And they tell you that, and then you tell them, okay, once I find a load like that, once I see a load like that, or someone offers to me, I will call you. I can't be calling you for each load, and you are just not taking anything. So they have that choice. Just wait, sit and wait, or go someplace else, because it would be in everyone's benefit. If you are spending that much time on someone and they are not bringing any income to you, or a very small income, you should rather concentrate on the drivers that are willing to work and willing to do extra work, and find them even better loads. So if you have a driver that's doing like $7,000 a week, let's say, why not do extra work and make it like a $8,000 or $9,000 a week for them, $8,000 or $9,000 a week for them, because they deserve it. They're willing to work, they're willing to put in the hours and work, and they will be happy, and you will be happy. And it was at the end much less difficult to work with these people because they were not turning down so many loads. So you worked less, but made more with these guys as opposed to this difficult person. Okay, but then if you have a difficult driver that turns down loads, but they end up, with a big gross at the end of the week. And then these drivers are usually, when they're picky, usually these drivers are very organized and, safe, and they're always on time because they want to make money. They're on time, they do everything, and they're constant. They're constant. They always want to work. They don't take much time off, and you can make a lot of money on these drivers as a dispatcher. And they're making a lot of money because their checks are huge, because they're willing to work, and they always, they don't go with the first load. They want the highest paying load. So usually when a driver is difficult like that with the rates, and they are willing to work, they are very safe and punctual, and they're on time. They're very responsible, and it's hard to deal a driver like that. But at the end, you get to make a big profit of that truck, and you tend to have less problems as far as other things go, like not being on time, and being a pain, generally, not just as far as loads goes. So if the driver is very picky, you have to call 10 loads, but at the end they do, they end up with a great week. Then it's what it is. It's part of the business. No one is perfect, and then anywhere you go, if you have your own company, and dealing with customers or contractors, it's hard to deal with people. Like, let's say you work at a bank, you have customers who are very demanding. You have 100 customers who are very good. You like them, and then one person comes in and just ruins your day. It's part of the job. Same thing. Let's say you're in medical field, or contractors. You do some kind of craft. You're going home to home and fixing something. Like if you're a builder, then you get someone who's difficult to work with, and it's everywhere like that. No one is perfect, and you can't expect to have everything go smoothly, especially when you run your own business. There are going to be problems. That's why most people don't own businesses. Most people don't run their own companies, because they don't want to deal with stress. They don't want to deal with customers, with problems. And then you and me, we want to do that. We want to have our own company, be our own boss. But that's the trade-off. You get a lot of stress and a lot of problems. And you should learn how to deal with those kind of people. Go out of your way, show them that you're actually looking, get up earlier, look for, if they expect you to stay longer after work, look for them. If they call in the weekend, answer the phones, and then slowly they will notice that you're going out of your way to please them. They will appreciate it, but because, like I said before, these people, they know they're difficult, because everyone keeps telling them that, their family, their friends, and they know this, like they're hard to please, and they usually admit it. But then they have a reason, like, I am difficult because, and then, I want to make money because I don't want to do these cheap loads. Because it's supposed to be this way. They're supposed to load me in 30 minutes, not in 3 hours. Well, yes, they're supposed to, but they're not. So you can't tell them, hey, it's the standard. You were loaded in 2 hours, you should be happy. No, you can't. With them, it has to be perfect. And I understand that. I expect the same thing. But me, on the other hand, I kind of made my peace with that when I was driving, that, sometimes they load you for a long time. But these people, they will never, they will never accept that. And for them, it's not okay. Just be patient with them, listen to them. Don't get into any discussions. They just want to rant. They don't want to argue with you, because they are not yelling at you directly. They are not saying it's your fault. They're just yelling and ranting generally, like, oh, this broker did that, or this shipper and these guys in receiving, and then you listen to them, you tell them, or even if they message you, that's what I do always, and I know all my drivers, like the way they feel, how to calm them down. It's kind of like when you go to, like a therapy, like, like a shrink, and then that he or she, they know how to deal with people and how to talk to them. And then also, like, even like people who like to go like a bartenders, like, they know how to deal with everyone, how to, they can read you, they see you how you act, and then they know how to calm you down and talk to you. Same with drivers. You learn how to calm them down. You learn to tell them what they want to hear. If they're just raging about something, then you tell them, well, yeah, you're right. These brokers, they should have never done that. They don't tell us the whole truth. Or if they're at the shipper receiver something, and then they say, well, it's been 2-3 hours, and then you show them that you feel for them. You show them empathy, and that you know what it is, and then you also show them that you are doing everything in your power to help them. So, like, if they're stuck at delivery for hours, then you call the broker. You tell them, hey, I called the broker, and then I called the broker after an hour. I emailed them, and I told them, and I can even call the company. You just show them that you care. Don't tell them, hey, it's the way it works. Deal with it. All other drivers say, no, you don't do that. You have to show them that you care. Okay, so that's basically how I deal with drivers. Of course, if you have someone that's really yelling and swearing and offending you, then of course you're not going to let them do that. But if someone is just generally mad, just try to calm them down, because like in 20 minutes or an hour, they will call you back, and they will be much easier to talk with after they calm down. Thank you for watching. Subscribe to the channel, like the video, come back for more. I try to bring out more content as I can, as the time allows me. My name is Anis. This is Never Stop Trucking. I'll see you around.